Hello again, Kendopolis. This is Dr. Kendo, and I'm here with another Scribblenauts Unlimited Object Editor Commentaries. Yes, the name of this game is Scribblenauts Unlimited. In the PC and Wii U versions of this game, you can access this feature. It's the Object Editor. So we're going to start off with a girl as the source object, because today we're going to be creating Muffet from Undertale, and each week I choose what we're creating based off of your suggestions in the comments. So whatever is most popular and most requested by the most amount of different viewers is what gets created each week. And so again, we started off with a girl. For this design, I would say it doesn't matter which girl you start out with. Just remove the head, the arms, the legs, all those limbs, shrink down that torso a bit, that body. We're gonna first create the in-battle sprite, that design of black and white, and then we'll create the overworld, the colored version after that. And so typing in a Dimetrodon, we'll take that front kind of just above the foot of the Dimetrodon, and we'll take that upper leg kind of piece of it, and make sure that the back leg of Muffet, we actually move it to the front, so it is actually over the torso. Normally it's behind the torso in layers, but you want to layer it so that it is actually in front of that, but not in front of the other leg, the leg to our left, basically. You want that one to remain in front, but the reason is for those pantaloons that Muffet has, we want them both to be visible over the torso. Archaeopteryx, I'll show, of course, how to spell that on screen, but we took the Archaeopteryx foot, the back foot, and made that be, I guess, the start of the arms. We've made it for the upper and the middle pairs of arms, but then for the bottom arm after that, we're gonna take Tots, that's Maxwell's baby brother, just one solid kind of arm shape. We just took the back arm. It doesn't really matter if you take the back or the front. The front one does have a little black dot on the joint, though, where it connects, so like a lot of Scribblenauts stamps and stuff. But anyway, hairy fish is what I'll type in after that, and grab that fin of the hairy fish, the one that's in the front, kind of, sort of close to the head, and we'll make that be this sort of ribbon shape and stuff that's on Muffet's top right there. And then typing in a barrel eye, we can grab that same kind of fin shape, but for the barrel eye instead, and that'll be for the top of this ribbon shape, just below the neck, basically. And I'll type in a bubble after that. The bubble can act as the sleeves right here, these puffy sleeves, I guess, so just next to that top pair of arms on both sides, we'll take that bubble. So make sure that wherever you're placing your stamps and things is in the appropriate spot. Like, we want those Dimetrodon upper leg pieces to be placed on the grid for the legs. We want the Archaeopteryx pieces to be where the arms are, as well as the Tots arms and the bubble. Type in a dagger tooth for the next part, and grab that middle body piece of it. It's going to be for the legs, at least the start of Muffet's legs here. And I'll type in a magic lamp, and this is actually because if you type in like a teapot, tea kettle, those sorts of things are not going to yield the result that looks, I think, most accurate to this stamp, and so we are not obviously intending it to be a magic lamp or anything like that. That's supposed to be the teacups and the teapots. And so actually, speaking of, also for the top arms, we do have mug. If you just type in MUG for mug and put that one up there, and just to save us stamp space, because I know we'll probably hit that limit of stamp space, we're not making little separate stamps, I guess, for the fingers or the hands on the arm. We're just gonna make it holding those cups and things, so it's like the hands are behind that, grasping that. So it's a way that we can be artistic while still kind of including all the stamps we need to and saving stamp space. Heels for the feet, a dot on both of those Dimetrodon upper leg pieces for buttons down there on the pantaloons. And yes, you heard me mention stamp space. Well, anybody who's not familiar, any of those pieces that we use to create our Muffet's body right now are stamp pieces. And Scribblenauts Unlimited, although called Scribblenauts Unlimited, it is not unlimited.
That's crazy.
It is actually limited. What? I know. Crazy.
I know, that's crazy.
But yes. So to save stamp space, we create the head and the body separately, because we will hit the limit basically with one more stamp right now on this body, and that we can't use one stamp to convey what we want the head to look like for Muffet. So we will create that separately. Anyway, we're right here in the properties editor, and this is where you edit health and all sorts of other kind of background stuff for your character. So I like to read fun facts and just information about the characters that we create in this series so that you guys can get acquainted with them if you're not, or just hear some some of the information. So Muffet from Undertale runs a bake sale and gets angry at those who walk on by without purchasing anything from it, although buying something does cost 9,999 gold. She's a spider monster with 5 eyes, 6 arms, and 2 legs, with pantaloons, a red ribbon across her chest, and 2 more ribbons in her hair. As we can see with her in-battle design, she's holding 2 teacups with the top pair of hands and 2 teapots with her middle pair of hands. Probably obvious to most, but Muffet, the name, could be inspired by the children's nursery rhyme of Little Miss Muffet who sat on a tuffet, and in it, the young girl is even scared away by a spider. Spider? Makes sense, right? But alright, so now we'll start off with the head as the source object, so we can move on now to the head design right here. And again, this is just for the battle sprite, you know, the black and white. We are getting to the color version after this. Cybele, it's either Cybele or Sybil. Cybele Leon. We took the head of her to be kind of this main, I would say main design of the head, you know, a basic template. And then fish. You want the animal fish, not the food. And we'll take the fin kind of in the bottom middle of that fish, and that'll be for this bottom set of eyes right here. We'll go back to that barrel eye, that fish again, and grab that same fin that we used earlier, but this time it'll be for that middle pair of eyes. And so for the last eye here, kind of in the forehead area, we're going to use a dot. Looks good. A jellyfish, that's what I'll type in after this, and we're going to basically take this tentacle piece that is, it's like the upper tentacle piece next to the body of the jellyfish on the left side. We took that, it's almost just a black line. It'll be for the start of the mouth, and then for the slightly evil looking grin maybe, you know, those curves for the smile. We'll access the 29-page library and go to the 20th page, and in the bottom middle grab the arm shapes there and paint them all black. Put them on either side of the mouth. A mane fish, M-A-N-E for mane. That's the fish that we'll use to take that kind of bottom middle fin. That'll be for these fangs here on Muffet. Paint them black, of course. Looks good. So then I'm going to take the tail fin of a piranha. So all the way in the back, that fin piece, and we're going to make that be for the ribbons in the hair right here. And a haystack is actually a kind of a unique stamp that we're going to use. Anytime that you can think outside the box and use something that you just like would never think of, but still can convey the look and design that we want, you know, that's what I go for. I try to always think outside the box here. And so I've been praised many a time for that. So I thank you so much for recognizing that. But it's sort of a basic philosophy of this game. Anyway, for the head object, to connect it to the body, you're going to want to, in the properties editor, go down to the equipment tab, close to the bottom, and the bottom 4 circles down there. Basically, you want to check off that second to last circle right there. Third one down, can be worn on the face like glasses. So now you see that we've got the head and the body separated right here. When you basically give that head object to the body object, it should mostly actually, that's really close. I was going to say it should appear mostly correct, but slightly have some adjustment that's needed. And so we do only, again, it's really slight, I think, for this design, but basically you'll then want to go ahead and edit your body object to make the head be in the correct position. You'll want to turn on these green grids right here. You can see that I pushed that button in the top right corner on your left side panel of buttons to use, and I just kind of scooted the head up a little bit and backwards a little bit, like to the left for us. And so there, I think that that's a lot better. And we have a chalk piece, the writing chalk, as the neck for Muffet right there. I was able to add that in, and that was the last stamp piece, I believe. So we will move on to the color version now. We're going to do it a lot less detailed because it's supposed to look like the overworld sprite. But anyway, I do want to mention having the battle black and white version that we just did. You notice that with the feet, you know, I used heel for the foot, and I put one of them facing forward and one of them facing the other way. So one's facing left, one's facing right. That one that's facing to our left is going to move kind of awkwardly, possibly, you know. So just be aware that the legs will basically walk like forward is to the right, you know, if they're looking to the right, or if it's to the left, they're going to walk that way. And so like that heel will always kind of look like it is a little bit backwards, since Scribblenauts is a 2D game. So I just wanted you to be aware of that, and we will do something different when we create this color version now. With the foot, we'll make them both facing the same direction. I just want to give you lots of options for designing this character. I know that you guys love Muffet, and so anyway. We've started off with a dancer as the source object, specifically the male dancer, just because the female dancer will have a different body and look to it overall. And so here we've taken off the head, the legs, the arms. Once again, like we started the black and white Muffet, of course, the battle sprite. But here with the overworld sprite, we're going to be, of course, painting it kind of that maroonish red color at the top. And I've got a little space for the neck. Since this is the overworld sprite that we're kind of designing, I'm going to make it not super detailed. Like that first Muffet that we did in this episode, that's a very detailed version, and so you can of course convert that to color if you want to. I'm just simply giving you guys two options. And so we've got a mango, and mango is actually going to be a pretty I would say prevalent stamp that we're going to be using in this design specifically. And so again, you want to make sure that you're attaching everything to the correct green grids, using that Maxwell head with the bananas and the wheel, that icon there in the top right of your left side panel of objects when you're on the arrow down below. That's how to turn on those green grids. But yes, we've got the mangoes down below for the pantaloons, and then right here is going to be another mango for the sleeves there on the arm. That would be to our left, and now the one on the right. And so that's for part of Muffet's top, the sleeves. And so then after that, we can go ahead and type in a jellyfish, grab that upper tentacle piece that's basically right next to the body of the jellyfish in essence on the left side. And so we'll move that behind the mango as far as layers go, but attach these first two to the arm. And then as kind of a new design, it's almost like when I made Alexandrite from Steven Universe, I'm going to put one of the jellyfish line pieces attached to the body on both sides. So basically it'll be that the top two arms for Muffet here will move with the arms of the creation, whereas the bottom pair of arms for both sides is going to just stay still with the body of the character. We've typed in Dory. Of course, you want the fish, not the boat. That's not anything like a blue tang or anything, so it's not like Finding Nemo's Dory, but you want the fin of the Dory. And then we're going to type in a mola. It's synonymous with a sunfish, so you can also type that in. And just grab the fin of that there sort of next to the head. And that's actually, we're going to use that as the Dory fin was the buttons on the pantaloons, and then this mola fin is going to be the one that we use for the arms. And again, since this is not like the super detailed version of the character, but rather the overworld colored sprite, that mola shape is going to be just sort of like the little circles that are her hands when you see her as the sprite. And so then we'll take that jellyfish. Once again, this is kind of the last jellyfish lines we'll use as the legs, and we'll use a mango once again as the feet. So paint that mango down at the bottom all black, and you can notice how this time we have the feet both facing in that same direction. So this way it'll look a little bit more, I guess, realistic to walking in real life or whatever. Does that make sense? Okay, so we'll start off with the head as the source object for the next part. You can see that it's all created right here, so I'm just going to run by what stamps I used for the color version of Muffet and the head. And so it was a duckling's body, as kind of the bulk of that Muffet has this periwinkle or lavender-esque kind of skin right there. So you can see I just took that color away, but that's where the duckling piece was. And behind that, actually, we're going to remove the color from that head, but sort of as the base head right there, over our source head was a bridesmaid. If you just type in, of course, bridesmaid and grab that head piece, that's what I've used. You can see that I just took it away for a second and showed that there was a head that we started off with as the source object that was underneath. The bridesmaid, I mostly wanted that just for the hair, whereas the duckling body is more for the face, the skin parts. And so a hatchet fish is what we can type in next. Right next to the head, there's this sort of silvery pointy fin. That's for the middle set of eyes right there on Muffet. You can see I kind of placed it close to where that was and made note of its position. So right here, we now have the middle eye that's at the top and in the center, and that's from a barrel eye. You can take that top fin of the barrel eye this time. We used the barrel eye earlier for the side fin, but this one is on the top, and you can see where it goes by just where I've put it right now, and we'll go ahead and take that away actually and paint it back to be the right color. Here we go. Okay, and so next we'll type in a grenadier. You could also pronounce that grenadier, I think, but basically it's gonna give you lots of options. You want the fish version, of course, and grab that side fin kind of close to the head. Grab that fin, and that'll be for the eyes right there. The biggest eyes, I guess, down at the bottom, those bottom two. You can see I'm removing color from these four kind of little shapes down at the bottom by the mouth. That was actually that same dory fin, again, the dory fish, and you can see here what it looks like when I type it in and show off that stamp. And we did this again because it's like pixely a little bit, but more so just with this Scribblenauts kind of interpretation of it. It's more just a less detailed version. Simplicity. A minus sign. A minus sign was kind of the main black of that mouth design right there. So that looks good, and we can take that away. And then simply using jelly, kind of a unique stamp, but some of my favorite stamps in Scribblenauts are the food. You know, they've got lots of different stamps for the foods of the world, but I love what those look like, and so jelly was good. And on that same theme, the jelly is for the hair tie ribbons, whereas another food item, croissant, is for the hair coming out on both sides at the top. So it looks good. Let's put it all together now. We've got the Muffet head kind of rolling away from our body here. We need to, of course, after we put the head into the hands of the body, it should go in the place that it's supposed to go because we scripted it on the equipment tab to be worn on the face like glasses. Yes, you guys remember that. We'll turn on those green grids again as we're editing the body right here, our body creation of Muffet. When I had put the head on to the character, it looked like the head was just sitting a little bit low and needed to be moved forward just a bit, i.e. to our right and up again. So that should do it, and now we'll actually show off just a little bit of the animation and the battling and stuff for our first Muffet creation, this black and white version, and you can see that she's shooting out spiders, but actually also because she is losing or gaining health, one of the scripts that I had also was for her to shoot out a croissant, and so I thought that was a nice little nod to Undertale and the bake sale and all that, so she does shoot out a white croissant every now and then after taking damage. But those were our Muffet designs. I hope everybody is pleased, but again, you've got two different options, kind of a simple one, a colored one, black and white, or a detailed one, whatever you kind of want to do, or you can mix and match these two creations to make it how you want to. I encourage that. So everybody just remember to spread positive vibes and positivity in life, as we said in the last commentary, and I will catch you on the next vid, and thanks for viewing.
Down the road of twists and turns, always anxious to see what's within. We can look ahead to the point of no return, to the rest of our lives as the spectacle begins. I've been down the road of twists.